Speak by Laurie House Anderson was, is, and will always be one of my all-time favorite books. The first time I read Speak, I was in junior high school. It completely wrecked my soul. I'm talking ugly crying for days, carrying the book around like my most precious possession, and my friends being angry at me for being unable to stop speaking about the book. Granted, I was in middle school and therefore quite dramatic. Honestly, I can't even say quite dramatic with a straight face because I was an absolute drama queen back then. I remember picking it up as a last resort because the book I'd come into the library for was not available. I then pouted, like the drama queen I was, and procrastinated reading the book for about 4 days because the cover was simple. I was so used to reading fantasy fiction, and anyone who is an avid fantasy reader knows that the cover art is often elaborate. Yes, I know. I literally judged the book by its cover. I think subconsciously I was uncomfortable with the synopsis I had read on the back of the book about the content, but I was also intrigued enough to check it out, obviously. Once I actually opened the book and dove in, I swear I didn't move until I had devoured every single word. The book is about a girl starting her freshman year of high school as a social pariah for having ruined a party over the summer where she was raped by an older student. She was terrified to tell anyone she had been assaulted and stopped speaking, period. Following her inner monologue, I realized I had had similar thoughts over the years dealing with my own childhood trauma. This book absolutely destroyed me and every ounce of emotional capacity I had for days. It resonated in my spirit and made me feel for the first time that I wasn't alone. It made me comfortable enough to speak out, and once I did, I was able to help some other people speak out about their own experiences with abuse. I made friends and I was able to help them get through some difficult times, all because this book helped me first. Now, not only did this book give me a release for stress I had been carrying around for 10 years, as if that's not a good enough reason for this to be my favorite book. This book also changed the way that I look at literature. I was used to reading fantasy fiction and I was vocal about hating the so called sappy stuff. This book opened me up to a whole new genre of books, which opened me up to a whole new genre of emotions I had never wanted to feel before. And let me tell you, holding in secrets and trauma for 10 years causes a lot of damage. I found that talking was significantly helpful for me. This book made me feel comfortable enough to talk about my darkest secret, and it also made me dig deep within my own mind to get to the nasty emotions I have been hiding and finally deal with them. This book literally changed my life. It's actually the same book I used for the presentation I spoke about on the discussion board last week. Speak inspires me to be an advocate for victims of sexual violence and to help make a difference wherever I can. I currently work as an educator, and sadly, I have had to involve social services several times in my students' lives. If I had never read this book, I never would have become confident enough to talk about sexual violence, let alone speak up when I see the signs. However, one of the things I learned from this book that I value the most is that listening to what people say and how they say it is an invaluable trait to possess. Because the protagonist was so quiet, she was able to observe everything going on. Can you imagine how we could help others if we would just stop talking sometimes and listen? How many of us ever stop our busy lives and give people the opportunity to talk with no interruptions? Since reading this book, I have made a conscious effort to make myself available to people, and trust me, it is absolutely beautiful and beyond magical. The things people will say when you give them your undivided attention, judgment free.